Episodes of elevated climatic temperatures coupled with high relative humidity can result in reduced feed intake, reduced body weight gain, and in extreme cases can cause death of feedlot cattle as a result of hypothermia. A study conducted by Davis and Matter in 2004, titled Effects on Management Strategies on Reducing Heat Stress of Feedlot Cattle, investigates the hypothesis that altering time of feeding feedlot cattle to later in the afternoon and implementing the use of water sprinkling together will significantly reduce heat stress and excessive heat loading, resulting in increased feed intake and weight gain. The basis to Davis and Matter's study comes from prior work that shows that the use of sprinklers to heat stress cattle results in the decrease of body temperature. It also shows that altering feeding time and feed intake prevents the occurrence of peak metabolic and environmental heat load, therefore reducing heat accumulation. 3 experiments were conducted over 23 days. Experiment 2 did not find any conclusive information, therefore experiments 1 and 3 will be discussed only. Experiment 1 was conducted to investigate the effects feeding time and a feed amount had on the cattle. 144 Angus crossbred yearling steers were assigned into 24 pens and to 3 treatments. Treatment Group 1 were fed at 8 a.m. daily, Treatment Group 2 were fed at 4 p.m. daily, with the leftovers being removed before 8 a.m. the next day, and Treatment Group 3 were fed at 4 p.m, but were only given 85% of feed that was assigned to Treatment Group 1. In this experiment, the steers fed at 4 p.m. showed to consume more feed than those that fed at 8 a.m, despite the changing environmental conditions. This is shown here in Table 1, with Group 2 having an average bunk score of 0.3 and Treatment Group 1 having an average bunk score of 0.8. This suggests that steers fed later in the day will consume a higher intake of feed. It was observed that steers in Treatment Group 3 had the lowest bunk scores over the experimental period. Therefore, it can be said that feeding these cattle less enticed them to feed due to hunger, despite the environmental conditions. This is also shown here in Table 1, with the average bunk score being 0. This indicates altering feeding times and feed quantities increases feed intake. In Experiment 3, 192 crossbred steers were randomly divided into 12 pens and 4 treatments were imposed on them to determine the effects of feeding time with or without water sprinkling. The treatments included feeding the cattle at 8 a.m. versus 4 p.m, with water sprinklers and without. Wet steers had an overall weight gain when compared to the dry steers. This is shown here in Graph 1. PM wet steers were 4 kilos heavier than the PM dry steers, and the AM fed steers were 6 kilos heavier than the AM fed dry steers. The weight gain difference indicates that wet steers consumed a higher amount of feed, therefore lowering the bunk scores and resulting in weight gain. This suggests that the use of water sprinklers to cool the cattle and ground surfaces had an impact on reducing heat stress, therefore increasing the feed intake and weight gain. It was found that altering feeding time, feed amount, and the use of water sprinkling are effective ways for decreasing the risk of heat stress and hypothermia in feedlot cattle. Thank you.